Let me tell you something. There is a version of you that is holding you hostage, a version full of doubt, fear, and excuses, a version that wakes up and says, I'll start tomorrow, a version that plays small when you were meant to stand tall. But hear me today, that version of you must die, because every time you hesitate, every time you let fear dictate your steps, that weak version of you is stealing your destiny. You were not created to live in the shadows of your own potential. You were designed to be powerful, to be bold, to be unstoppable. But the only way to step into your full potential is to slay the version of yourself that keeps whispering lies in your ear. Your weak version is a chain. Break it to set yourself free. Your weak version is not just a part of you, it is a prison that keeps you trapped in cycles of fear, doubt, and hesitation. It holds you back from reaching your full potential, whispering lies in your ear that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. And the longer you listen, the stronger those chains become. This weak version of you is built from years of conditioning, old fears, past failures, and limiting beliefs that were planted in your mind by experiences, by other people, by the world around you. Every time you shrink back instead of stepping forward, that version of you gains power. Every time you say maybe next time instead of I will do it now, you reinforce the bars of your own prison. Look back at your life and think of all the moments where you wanted to take action but didn't. The times when you wanted to start that project, have that conversation, take that leap, but something inside you held you back. That wasn't the real you. That was the weak version of you standing in the way. It wasn't your potential speaking. It was your limitations shouting louder than your dreams. The weak version of you finds comfort in excuses. It loves to blame the past, the circumstances, the timing. It tells you that success is for others, that greatness is reserved for a select few, that people like you don't get to rise above. And the tragedy is so many people believe it. They go through life shackled to a lie, never realizing that the key to their freedom has always been in their hands. Breaking free starts with awareness. You must recognize the voice of weakness when it speaks. It sounds logical, it sounds reasonable. It says things like, you've tried before and it didn't work, or you're not ready yet. But the truth is, if you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you'll never move. Weakness is not removed by wishing it away. It is destroyed by action. Every time you push through resistance, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you silence the doubt and take a step forward, you are breaking those chains, and with each step you get stronger. The prison weakens, the bars bend, the walls start to crumble. But make no mistake, your weak version will not go down without a fight. It will try to pull you back, remind you of your past failures, make you question yourself. It will disguise itself as logic, as responsibility, as patience, but you must see it for what it really is, an illusion, a lie that has controlled you long enough. There comes a moment when you must decide, do you stay bound by the past, or do you rise into the person you were meant to be? Do you let your excuses define you, or do you break the chains and walk into your destiny? The choice is yours. Comfort zones create excuses. Real growth starts with discomfort. Comfort zones are deceptive. They feel safe, familiar, and predictable, but in reality, they are nothing more than invisible cages that keep you from stepping into the greatness that is waiting for you. They convince you that where you are is good enough, that you don't need to push any further, that taking risks is unnecessary. But what they don't tell you is that staying comfortable comes at a cost. The cost of growth, the cost of opportunity, the cost of becoming who you were truly meant to be. Excuses are born in comfort zones. They sound logical, they sound reasonable, and they always provide just enough justification to keep you from taking action. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time. I don't know if I'm ready. These are not truths. These are defense mechanisms designed to keep you in the same place. The more you listen to them, the more they control your life. The more you give in to them, the harder it becomes to break free. Growth demands discomfort. It requires you to step into situations that make you nervous, that challenge your beliefs, that force you to develop new skills and new levels of resilience. Think about a seed buried in the ground. It doesn't grow in comfort. It grows by breaking through the soil, pushing against the dirt, and reaching for the light. The same applies to you. Growth is a struggle. It's uncomfortable, but it is also necessary. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. Every time you step into discomfort, you force yourself to adapt, to learn, to expand your capacity. You develop discipline. You sharpen your skills. You build the mindset necessary for success. The most successful people in the world did not get there by staying where they were comfortable. They got there by embracing the discomfort of hard work, of failure, of uncertainty. They got there by pushing through when everything in them wanted to quit. Your comfort zone is not a place of safety, it is a place of stagnation. If you never push beyond it, you will never know what you are truly capable of. You will never experience the full extent of your talents, your potential, your power. You will always be stuck in a cycle of what-ifs and regrets, wondering what could have been if only you had dared to step out. Fear lives inside your comfort zone. It tells you that stepping out is risky, that you might fail, that you might get hurt. And while failure is possible, stagnation is guaranteed if you do nothing. The truth is, growth is not about eliminating fear. It's about moving forward in spite of it. It's about taking the leap even when you don't feel ready. It's about understanding that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of pushing through it are life-changing. Your mind must change before your life does. Everything you do, everything you achieve, and everything you become starts in one place, your mind. Before your body moves, before your habits shift, before your success manifests, your mindset must transform. If you want your life to change, but your mind is still operating on old patterns, you will find yourself trapped in the same cycles, making the same mistakes, and wondering why nothing is different. The reality is that your life is simply a reflection of your thoughts, beliefs, and mental conditioning. Your mind is the control center of your reality. It dictates how you perceive the world, how you respond to challenges, and how much you are willing to fight for your future. If your mind is filled with doubt, your actions will be weak. If your mind is full of fear, your steps will be hesitant. If your mind is constantly telling you that you are not capable, then no matter how much potential you have, you will never fully use it. This is why the first and most important battle you must win is the one in your own mind. There are people who want success but think like failures. They say they want to be wealthy, but their mind is consumed by scarcity. They say they want to be fit, but their mind justifies laziness. They say they want to be strong, but their mind embraces weakness. You cannot create a new life with an old mindset. If your mind is not in alignment with your goals, you will always sabotage your progress. Think about a thermostat in a house. If it is set to 70 degrees, no matter how much you try to heat the house, the thermostat will always regulate the temperature back to 70. Your mind is the thermostat of your life. If you don't reset it to a higher level, you will always fall back to where you were before. This is why some people start strong but never sustain their progress, because their mindset never changed. They tried to shift their actions without first shifting their thinking. Your thoughts determine your reality, but most people don't realize that they are prisoners of their own beliefs. They operate on autopilot, repeating the same negative self-talk, reacting the same way to challenges, and expecting different results. But change is impossible without first disrupting those mental patterns. If you keep thinking the way you've always thought, you will keep living the way you've always lived. The first step in changing your mind is awareness. You must pay attention to the thoughts that run through your head every day. Are they empowering or limiting? Are they filled with faith or fear? Are they preparing you for success or keeping you stuck? Most people never stop to analyze their own thinking, and because of that, they never break free from the mental chains holding them back. The second step is reprogramming your beliefs. If you have spent years telling yourself that you are not good enough, strong enough, or smart enough, those words have shaped your reality. But here's the truth. You can rewire your mind. Just like a computer can be programmed with new software, your mind can be filled with new beliefs, new perspectives, and new levels of confidence. But it requires daily work. It requires feeding your mind with knowledge, surrounding yourself with the right influences, and deliberately challenging the negative thoughts that try to creep in. The third step is taking action. A changed mind must be backed by changed behavior. When your thoughts start to shift, your actions must follow. You can't think like a winner but act like a quitter. You can't build a strong mindset but continue making weak decisions. Your mind is the foundation, but your actions are the bricks that build your future. When you align both, transformation happens. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. There is a gap between the life you have now and the life you dream of living. A gap between your current reality and your highest potential. A gap between the version of you that settles for less and the version of you that rises to greatness. And the only thing that can bridge that gap is discipline. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It is the difference between those who talk about success and those who actually build it. Talent may get you noticed, but discipline is what will keep you on the path when motivation fades. It is what pushes you to show up even when you don't feel like it. It is what keeps you moving forward when the excitement wears off, when the journey gets tough, and when every part of you wants to quit. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They wait to feel inspired, to feel ready, to feel strong. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. You cannot build a powerful life on something as inconsistent as motivation. But discipline? Discipline is unwavering. It doesn't depend on how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up every day and does the work regardless of emotions, circumstances, or obstacles. Discipline is what turns potential into power. You can have all the talent in the world, but without discipline, it will never amount to anything. You can have a vision for your future, but if you lack the discipline to execute the steps necessary to achieve it, that vision will remain just a dream. Greatness does not belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most disciplined. They're the ones who are willing to pay the price, to endure the process, and to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. Think of an athlete training for a championship. They don't just practice when they feel like it. They don't just train when it's convenient. They commit to the process every single day, rain or shine, tired or energized, inspired or discouraged. Their success is not built in the moment of competition. It is built in the hours, days, and years of disciplined work when no one is watching. Discipline is also what protects you from your own weaknesses. It keeps you accountable when your emotions try to lead you astray. It helps you stay focused when distractions try to pull you away. It strengthens your willpower so that when temptations arise, you don't fall back into old habits that sabotage your progress. Without discipline, your emotions will control your actions, and if you are controlled by your emotions, you will never build a strong life. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. They start strong but fade quickly. They commit for a week, then go back to their old ways. They set goals but never follow through. The reason? They rely on feelings instead of discipline. They allow their excuses to dictate their actions instead of commanding their actions to align with their purpose. Developing discipline is a decision. It is a choice you make every day to show up, to push forward, to stay committed even when no one is pushing you. It starts with small daily habits, waking up early when you'd rather sleep in, choosing to work when you'd rather procrastinate, saying no to distractions when you'd rather take the easy way out. These small decisions compound over time and create a foundation of strength that will carry you through every challenge. Discipline is the foundation of self-respect. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you build confidence. You develop a mindset that refuses to accept mediocrity. You prove to yourself that you are capable of doing hard things. And the more you strengthen your discipline, the more unstoppable you become. The version of you that settles must die so the version of you that wins can rise. There is a version of you that is comfortable with mediocrity, a version that makes excuses, avoids challenges, and settles for less than what you are capable of. That version of you must die, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because as long as you keep feeding that weaker version, as long as you keep allowing it to exist, you will never step into your full potential. Settling is a slow poison. It doesn't kill your dreams all at once. It drains them little by little. Every time you say it's good enough when you know you could do better, you give that weaker version of yourself more power. Every time you let fear stop you from taking action, you strengthen the part of you that wants to remain small. And the longer you allow that version of yourself to survive, the harder it becomes to break free from its grip. You were not created to settle. You were not placed on this earth to simply exist, to go through the motions, to live a life of regret and what-ifs. You were created with purpose, with potential, with a fire inside of you that is meant to burn through every obstacle standing in your way. But that fire cannot burn if you keep smothering it with comfort, with doubt, with the lies that tell you, maybe this is all there is. The version of you that settles makes decisions based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. But the version of you that wins makes decisions based on vision, based on discipline, based on the undeniable truth that you are capable of more. The difference between the two is not talent, not luck, not circumstances. It is the mindset you choose to operate from every single day. Think of a caterpillar. It can spend its entire life crawling on the ground, never realizing that it was meant to fly. But in order to become what it was designed to be, it must first go through a transformation. It must let go of its old self, go through the struggle of change, and emerge as something greater. The same is true for you. If you want to elevate, if you want to transform, you must be willing to leave behind the version of you that was content, crawling when you were meant to soar. You have to kill the mindset that tells you this is just how life is. You have to kill the habits that keep you stuck in the same cycles. You have to kill the excuses that keep you from taking action. Because every time you give in to those things, you are choosing to hold yourself back. You are choosing to delay your destiny. You are choosing to remain in a life that is far beneath what you are capable of living. Growth requires sacrifice. You cannot hold on to your old self and step into your new self at the same time. You cannot carry weakness and expect to walk in strength. You cannot keep feeding doubt and expect confidence to grow. Something has to be cut off. Something has to die. And that something is the version of you that accepts less than what you deserve. This is not about changing overnight. It's about making the decision that from this moment forward, you refuse to settle. You refuse to live beneath your potential. You refuse to let fear, doubt, and complacency control your future, because the moment you decide to kill the weaker version of yourself, the moment you stop making space for the mindset that holds you back, you step into a power that has always been inside of you. And once you taste that power, once you realize what you are truly capable of, you will never go back. Every choice you make is either feeding your weakness or strengthening your greatness. Every single day you make choices. Some of them seem small, almost insignificant. A decision to wake up early or hit the snooze button. A choice to push forward or give in to fatigue. A moment where you either silence your doubts or let them control you. But what you don't realize is that every choice is building something. Every action, every decision is either feeding the weaker version of yourself or strengthening the version of you that is destined for greatness. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Where you are today is the result of the choices you have made. Your habits, your mindset, your discipline, or lack of it. You didn't just wake up in your current situation. It was built, one decision at a time. And the person you are becoming tomorrow will also be shaped by the choices you make today. Weakness is not something that just happens, it grows when it is fed. It gains power when it is entertained. It takes control when you allow it. Every time you let an excuse win, every time you avoid the hard work, every time you settle for comfort over progress, you are giving weakness more influence over your life. And the more you allow it, the harder it becomes to break free. But strength, greatness, that is built the same way. One choice at a time, one disciplined action after another. The strongest, most successful people you see today were not born with something special that you don't have. They simply made different choices. They chose to show up when they didn't feel like it. They chose to stay focused when distractions were calling their name. They chose to push through fear instead of being controlled by it. Examine your life. Look at the patterns. Look at the moments where you felt stuck, frustrated, or defeated. Was it because life was against you? Or was it because in those moments you made choices that fed the wrong version of yourself? The truth is, most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they repeatedly choose actions that keep them in the same place. If you want to rise, you must start making choices that align with the person you are becoming, not the person you have been. You cannot make decisions based on who you were yesterday and expect to step into a greater future. Every choice must be intentional. Every action must be aligned with your highest self. You don't accidentally become successful. You don't randomly stumble into greatness. You build it, one disciplined choice at a time. Think about an athlete training for a championship. Every meal they eat is either fueling their body or slowing them down. Every training session they complete is either sharpening their skills or leaving them behind their competition. They don't have the luxury of making careless choices because they understand that everything they do has consequences. You need to start treating your life the same way. Every choice you make is either setting you up for victory or keeping you stuck in defeat. You don't need motivation to do this, you need to make a decision. Motivation fades, it's unreliable. Some days you'll feel it and other days you won't. But discipline? Discipline is a choice that doesn't depend on feelings. It is a commitment to doing what needs to be done no matter how you feel. It is waking up every day and choosing to move forward, even when every part of you wants to stop. Start small. Identify the areas in your life where you have been making weak choices. Where have you been settling? Where have you been feeding your excuses? Where have you allowed comfort to steal your progress? Once you see it, change it. Make a new choice. Replace weakness with strength, doubt with confidence, hesitation with action, because every moment, every decision is shaping your future. You cannot control everything in life, but you can control your choices. And when you start choosing discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, and purpose over fear, everything in your life begins to change. The version of you that settles, that makes excuses, that allows fear to dictate your actions, it cannot go where you are meant to go. If you want to unlock your full potential, you must be willing to kill the weak version of yourself. You must starve your doubts and feed your discipline. You must reject comfort and embrace the struggle that builds strength. Every great person you admire has had to make this decision. They had to let go of who they were to step into who they were meant to be. They had to break free from excuses, overcome self-doubt, and make choices that align with their highest potential. Now it's your turn. Decide today that you will no longer entertain the mindset that keeps you small. Decide today that you will no longer settle for anything less than what you are capable of. Decide today that every choice you make from this moment forward will build you up, not tear you down. Because the moment you kill that weak version of yourself, the moment you step into the discipline, the focus, and the mindset of a winner, everything in your life begins to change. Your potential is waiting. Your destiny is calling. Now's the time to rise.